Let's give one more love for Kara Moore.
Thank you, Richard. That was outstanding, as it is each and every year. At CBS, we broadcast Army-Navy game each and every year. We always say after that ball game, man, our country's in great hands. And I think we can say the same thing about these scholarship award winners here at this Earl Campbell Tyler Rose Award event. Each and every year, the winner is so impressive. And once again, Kara, she epitomizes everything about this award, and she's going to be another great one to carry this legacy on. So Richard, thank you, and we Longhorns say whoop too, whoop daddy. I'm playing, Richard. No, I ain't. No. He's a good sport. We do this every year. Hey, as you've heard multiple times, this is the 13th annual Earl Campbell Tyler Rose Award ceremony. We're going to hear from the man himself, Earl Campbell, in just a moment. But first, a little background on the namesake of tonight's award. I'm sure a lot of y'all know this, and some of you maybe you don't know this, but Earl was born and raised right here, Tyler, Texas. He went to John Tyler High School, where he won a state, yeah, go ahead. He attended John Tyler High School, where he won a state championship his senior year. He introduced me to a couple of his teammates, where he said one of them was a cheerleader. I don't believe that, Earl. That's wrong, man. Say that about your boys. Come on, man. He went on to play at the University of Texas in Austin and won the Heisman Trophy in 1977. Earl's NFL career began with the Houston Oilers and Bum Phillips, and today he is in the NFL Pro Football Hall of Fame. Now, if you've attended this, which quite a few of you have, you've seen this highlight video of Earl's, and hopefully none of your teams are on here that he's destroying, because he destroyed quite a few teams and favorite players. This highlight is just superb. Just the athleticism that he displays, the Brutus nature with which he ran the football is incredible. And the fact that, I mean, a guy could carry it 30 plus numerous times during his career, and no one could stop him. They knew he was getting the ball, and yet they still couldn't stop him. So with that being said, here's highlights of Mr. Earl Campbell.
Tyler, Texas, the rose capital of the world, and where the legend of Earl Christian Campbell took root.
I finally made up my mind that that's what I want to do. I want to be a running back.
His senior year, Earl led John Tyler High School to its first state championship in 43 years. In the finals at the Houston Astrodome, Campbell scored the winning touchdown. Earl had fast become a high school phenom and one of the top recruits in the country. Coach Darrell Royal did his best to help the Tyler Rose flourish. Earl had plenty of support at Austin, but there was always one piece missing. Campbell got himself in top physical condition with the goal of raising college football's most prestigious hardware, the Heisman Trophy. But the night before the 8th game of his senior season, he was bedridden with a 104-degree fever.
Coach Eggert was trying to make a decision on about playing or not playing, and I said, I want to play football. And I played football with him.
Earl ran for 173 yards, scored 3 touchdowns, and introduced himself to Bevo, the Texas Longhorn mascot.
He didn't run into Bevo, he knocked Bevo on his ass. Bevo just went straight to the ground and then turned his head and went, "Who are you?" He said, "Meet Mr. Campbell. I've done this to a lot of guys."
Heisman Trophy, and it goes to Earl Campbell of the
You know, when I was a kid and I'd get in trouble, I'd always say, "Hey, Mom, I'm in trouble," you know, so, "Mom, I'm in trouble, I don't have to do it."
Earl would not have to travel far to play in the NFL. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers traded the first pick in the 1978 draft to a playoff contender, the Houston Oilers.
My wife called me. She said, "Isn't it great?" And I said, "Well, in what grade?" She said, "We got Earl Campbell." I said, "What are you talking about?" She said, "You hadn't heard? We were trading for the #1 pick." Right there, I started to scream, "Hey!" They thought I was having a heart attack in the hotel. I could not believe it.
Opening day 1978. Campbell proved to his coaching staff that he had no problem running forward on his very first play as a pro.
Pass ready, retreats to throw. Look out to Campbell as a blocker in front. At the 30, 35, 40, 45, he's open. 50, 45, 40, 35, 20, 15, and 5. Touchdown, Earl Campbell. Campbell, he has a great speed. And he has tremendous ball.
I can remember those plays because that defensive end would go out, and that'd leave me on the secondary, you know, and I'd have such a steam going. No secondary would. One guy wanted that.
If there were any football fans left in America who didn't know Earl Campbell's name, they were about to learn it. The Oilers were on the brink of one of the great wins in franchise history. All they needed was a first down.
On 2nd and 8.
I looked at that sideline, it looked like it was 300 yards away. I was saying, "Ah, damn, I'm gonna get back."
Look at those statistics. 5 for 99 yards, 3
And on Thanksgiving Day in 1979, he beat the Oilers' in-state rival and solidified his status as a Texas folk hero.
I thought it was kind of girlish for one guy to tackle me. I mean, I wanted to have a bunch of them.
I see him run over people. And then I see him run around, and I never saw him get caught from behind.
When there was 4 minutes left of the game, we were ahead, and we had the ball, it was over. You know, he ran so low that there was nothing to tackle.
In 1980, the Oilers rode Earl Campbell. He carried the ball 373 times for 1,934 yards. When the offense began to sputter, Bum Phillips heard criticism that he was overworking Campbell.
Believe me, every time Earl carried the ball, he wanted to carry it. And he's so good, if he wants to carry it, you let him carry it. And he never got hurt. He hurt people. He didn't get hurt.
In the playoffs, the Oilers were stymied by the Oakland Raiders. 4 days before Thanksgiving, Bum Phillips paid one last tribute to the greatest running back he ever had. In 18 previous games with the Saints, Campbell had never carried the ball more than 14 times. On this day, he ran 35 times for 160 yards. When it was over, Phillips had seen enough. Earl Campbell left the game a humbled saint, but he will always be remembered as the best of Bum's bunch, the greatest Oiler of all time.
I never once dreamed that I would one day get voted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I wish there was some way for all those guys involved in that offensive line that I could bring to Canton, Ohio with me. Unfortunately, Bum Phillips don't play y'all playing fair.
Bum had been the father Earl was missing. He traded up to draft him, turned the Texas hero into an NFL star, gave him one last chance to shine in New Orleans, and presented him in Canton.
I've got a lot of memories, been around a long time. When I stop and think about it, Earl Campbell, you are my greatest memory of all.
The one thing I'll always remember about this day, beyond football, is that my daddy, B.C. Campbell, is up there in heaven, I believe, with all his buddies. And he's telling them what a great son he had. Look at my son, I know you can have him. And I thank you all so much for everything.
Man, that is so powerful. That never ever gets old. Always a treat to watch that. Earl, you got your mic down there? There it is. Hello? There you go.
That was Lee Steinberg, so yes, it's on.
Thank you, Lee. Earl, what comes to mind when you watch that video? Now, you've watched it numerous times. Of course, you lived it. What comes to mind when you see that? You see you just powering through player after player, defender after defender.
When I was in college, I told a guy named Ken Dabbs who recruited me to come to Texas.
Yeah.
I said, I saw a TV by this guy named Jim Brown. Can you give me a film of that? He said, yeah. So every night on my wall in my dormitory, I used to run that back and forth, watching Jim Brown. That's what I like, action. So Jim taught me how to give action. And I've always felt, I don't know why, but all my life I just felt as though I wasn't good enough, you know. Even with the Heisman Trophy, even with 3 MVPs in the NFL, it looked like it was always something I was after. And that something was to be the best. I mean, I got an education from UT in communications. I got my degree in 78, 79, I guess. But I wanted to be the best. And when I was in college, the team I compared, I could almost tell you what kind of year I was going to have, or our team is going to have, after we played this school, Oklahoma. Because I believe that they had the best defense and that was the best. And when I got to pro football, I heard about these people and I watched them on film, but I didn't think they could be good enough to stop me. And then Monday night against the Pittsburgh Steelers, I found that I was good enough. My partner over here to my left, Mr. Joe Green. There's one thing I want to say about Joe Green is sometimes I wonder if Joe Green really know my name is Earl Campbell. Because the first day we got to be friends, I met him in Maryland. He was down on the autograph show. So I knew he was going to go to Jersey and he would be there. So I said, hey, I'm going to take my jersey. I get Joe Green to sign it. And so that night for dinner, I didn't go down. I told him, man, you go down and you can have dinner. But I don't like to go because I don't feel like getting out of bed. He says, hey, when I got down there, he said, Joe Green asked me, where's Earl? I said, yeah, he said he want to eat. He's up in the room. Joe came up to the room, and I remember in that Louis Vuitton bag I was told, I bought that number 75 to get autographed for my game room. So I said, hey, Joe, after we talked, we laughed and talked about the guys. I said, hey, man, let me tell you something. Would you mind signing my jersey for me? He said, well, yeah, where is it at? I said, over in that Louis Vuitton bag. So he got it and signed it. That was the very first time that I really got to be friends with Joe Green. And I want to tell this story because it was kind of interesting. I do so much. You know, I don't have time to hear a lot of stuff. So my wife, I was coming to the house one day and she said, you know what? I said, what? She said, Joe Green wrote me a letter. I said, why would Joe Green write my wife? And it worried me, but I never let her know I was concerned about it. So I went to Dallas to his charity, and I said, hey, Sean, Joe Green wrote my wife a letter. Why would you write her a letter? He said, well, I want to tell you something. He takes a lot of pride in what goes on in that charity. Your wife made a substantial donation. And this how he wrote that. He sits down personally and write that thank you letter to her. I didn't know that my wife and Joe Green's wife was even friends. And she says, you know, when you was over there in Hawaii, y'all would be practicing football? I said, yeah. She says, that's how I got to know Joe's wife. So she made that donation to Joe's charity. So ever since then, I'm telling you, I just don't think Joe Green realized my name was Earl Campbell. Tyler Rose, I guess he understands it now. Thank you.
I got one other question for you. Don't turn that mic off. We've said it numerous times, 13th annual Earl Campbell Tyler Rose Award. What does that mean to you, the longevity of this event?
I went back to the Hall of Fame for the first time about 3 months ago, and I did something called a legacy program. In the legacy programs at the Hall of Fame, you choose 3 or 4 things you want to talk about. So one of them, the first one was I had to talk to people that was in rehab because 17 years now I've been sober. And I'm pretty big, I don't talk about it a lot, but I'm pretty big about that AA deal. So I had a chance to go talk to a rehab there. Another thing is I talked to a couple of football programs there. But it's just that, you know, when you do things in life and you try to do the right things in life, sometimes in life it looks like it's not going to work out. But if you keep on praying and you keep on to the grind, it all works out. A guy said one time, my name may be on the front door. He says, that's not what's important. What's important is what goes on behind that door. And these people in town for these many years has been nice enough to let my family shine a little bit of light and put a little bit of light into them. And to see that young lady up there, that's what life's all about. But at the Hall of Fame, they asked me something. We was in this car riding around, they asked me, can you tell me if it came to this person, that person, what would you do? I said, well, the reason I like Superman is because they always help people. And they said, well, when you're in Austin, you really want to dine on a hamburger, where do you go? I said, it's been a burger joint there called Daily Morning Hamburger. If you ever came to UT or to Austin, everybody knows about Daily Morning Hamburger. So that's where I hang out. But it's really good that you have a chance to let somebody else enjoy you, like people enjoy me tonight. But it's I'm a little bit shy about that. It's kind of like somebody that done their things in life, don't like to look at it. I'm that kind of guy. I do my thing, but I'd rather other people enjoy it instead of myself.
Well, thank you for doing your thing and letting us enjoy yours.
Thank you.
Earl Campbell, folks. Hey, let me mention again, the silent auction is still open, so if you got some items out there, you might want to check on them, make sure someone didn't take your spot. And also, let me give a shout out to Willowbrook for the fine cuisine we enjoyed tonight. Now, on to the other stars that we are recognizing this evening. Let's start with our inaugural Legends Award recipient, Mr. Joe Green, defensive tackle, Pittsburgh Steelers. We're going to take a look at some of Mr. Green's highlights. Joe Green was voted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame as a member of the class of 1987. Green was also an inaugural member of the Steelers Hall of Honor as a member of the class of 2017. Green changed what it meant to play for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He changed the mindset of those who wore the black and gold, starting with his teammates in the 1970s, with his impact still lasting today. Green, a man who admittedly was disappointed to be drafted in the first round by the team in 1969 when they were a losing franchise, through his play and dedication, made those who were drafted after him honored to be selected by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Green, a leader of the Steel Curtain defense for 13 seasons, the Hall of Fame defensive tackle who helped bring 4 Super Bowl championships to Pittsburgh, the 2-time NFL Defensive Player of the Year, is the player who helped shape the franchise, and he was honored for everything he did when his number 75 was retired in 2014. Only the second number in franchise history ever to be retired. When you look at it, Joe Green was the guy who anchored the whole football team, said fellow Hall of Famer and former teammate Mel Blount. Not just on the field, but Joe Green was a stabilizer. Green was selected to the Pro Bowl 10 times, including 8 straight years from 1969 to 76. He was a 5-time first-team All-Pro selection, 11-time first-team All-AFC selection, NFL Defensive Player of the Year twice, 1972 and 74, and NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year in 1969. He was named to the NFL's 75th anniversary all-time team, the 1970s all-decade team, and the Steelers' 75th anniversary all-time team. Green's best season came at 74, when not only was his on-field play stellar, earning NFL Defensive Player of the Year honors, but he was also an emotional leader, inspiring his teammates en route to the team's first Super Bowl victory in Super Bowl IX. From an attitude standpoint, a desire, he'd do whatever you had to do to win, said his late coach Chuck Noll. His play was intimidating. You would see him walk on the field, and he would give you that little sneering smile he had, and he would get a little laugh. Once that ball was snapped, you knew it was a war. He came and brought it every time. You knew you were in a physical battle the whole game. Green followed that up with an interception and fumble recovery in the win over the Minnesota Vikings in Super Bowl IX, the first of 4 Super Bowl wins he would be instrumental in. When Green stood on the steps of the Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio, with former coach Chuck Noll as his presenter, his love for the Steelers fans shone through. In Pittsburgh, if you're not at the stadium at 1 p.m. on Sunday in the fall, you're at the wrong place, Green said in his speech. They are always there. Without the fans, it's something different, and we certainly appreciate and love you for that. And you have impacted my life because you are important. Green was born in Temple, Texas, where he played football and graduated from Dunbar High School. He played his college career at North Texas before beginning his NFL career with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Joe Green. Will you pass the mic to Mr. Joe Green? Because I got to ask, you know what the first question is. What was going on with you and number 70 for the Philadelphia Eagles? No, the guy you were tussling with, number 70 for the Eagles, what was his problem?
Just a preview of what will be coming later.
A preview of what was coming later.
Yes.
That was a long preview because you guys were going at it quite a bit. When you look back on your career there with the Steelers, and they hadn't done anything until you, of course, got there, and then all the other guys came along. What stands out about the beginning when you first stepped foot there in Pittsburgh?
To tell you the truth, what stood out to me at that time, I couldn't believe that what I was looking at was pro football. Our locker rooms were in the basement of a first aid building out in South Park, Pennsylvania. And it was bad, bad, bad. The weather was bad all the time. And we were losing. We won our first ball game against the Detroit Lions. Then Barney was a second-year player there. And I thought, like other guys on our team, thought that, okay, we might not be as bad as we thought we were. Yeah, because we did play preseason and we didn't win any of those. We proceeded to lose the rest of that 13-game season schedule. So we lost 12 in a row, something like that, in the regular season. We finished the season at 1-13. And we didn't win another ball game until the 5th game of the preseason the following year. And, we listened to Chuck, and Chuck would give us the same speech over and over. And we said, well, I said, something's got to change. And it didn't.
What changed?
Well, put you saw on tape up there. I started acting up a little bit. And for whatever reason, I think it may have, from the standpoint of desire, will to win, maybe some of that carried over. But it wasn't the right way that I was doing it, because I was costing our team penalties. Hey, I don't want to talk about Joe. I want to talk about this guy. See, a lot of you guys, it was before your time. And you're honored right now. And those in the future will be honored continually about what you just saw. This man playing football from the heart, playing to win. That wasn't playing for ESPN. That wasn't playing to be seen on TV. That was playing to win the ball game and do it the only way he knew how to do it, was carry the football over the goal line. And to do that, he had to run over a lot of people. And he did it. Desire to win. I call him the Tyler Rose because that's what everybody calls him. Tyler Rose. They say that he was drafted number 1 in 78, 77. Well, I've said it tonight earlier that the Pittsburgh Steelers were facing the Houston Oilers on a Monday night in Pittsburgh. We were 7-0. And here comes this rookie. We're number 70, number 34. And at that time, we were 2 times Super Bowl champions. 74 and 75. This was Monday night. So we were 7-0. I tell you, Mike Wagner, the safety, and he came up to our defensive line and said, Still Curtis, what y'all doing? this guy's killing me. I can't let him keep getting through there. I said, we're trying, we can't stop him. I just want to thank Earl for putting all of that on tape. Just let me tell you, when you want to see football, and if you love football, that's what you want to see. That's what you want to see. You didn't see him shake his butt and dance not one time. Did you see him throw the ball on the ground? Did you see him run across the field and shake and do all that dumb stuff that these kids do? The game is moving the football like he did, or stopping him like I tried to do. That's what it is. I've said this a couple times. But all you guys and girls that like football, if you watch the college football championship and you watch the quarterback number 15 from Indiana, when the quarterback draw, make a couple of people miss at the 3-yard line. I think they started it on the 13-yard line. He juked a couple of people. He ran over two small guys. And then it looked like he wasn't going to make it. And he leaped into the end zone to score the winning touchdown. That's hard, guys. If you're playing for the money, if you're playing to be seen on ESPN, you ain't gonna have that kind of go get after attitude. Because you just gonna quit. It ain't enough. You was playing to win. And he did it. I appreciate that so much. Whatever game that was, it placed us at right at the top of all games that I watched all the time. And I'm putting in girls, games, and that guy that I like to, Big Jim. And he patted this game after the right person, Jim Brown. I just want to thank Earl and the Tyler City Council for voting me in as a legend. It's hard to say.
Thank you. Joe, before you pass the mic on, I want you to introduce your wife and any other guests that you have with you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't want to go home already. Thank you. This is my wife, Shaw. She takes care of this. This old hard-headed young man. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, our 2025 Earl Campbell Tyler Rose Award winner is Haynes King, quarterback, Georgia Tech. Let's take a look at Mr. Haynes King's 2025 season. In just 38 games at Georgia Tech, Haynes King established himself as one of the most productive and decorated quarterbacks in the school's illustrious history. King capped his legendary Georgia Tech career in 2025 by being named ACC Player of the Year and Offensive Player of the Year, finishing 10th in voting for the Heisman Trophy and winning the Earl Campbell Tyler Rose Award, given to college football's top offensive player with ties to the state of Texas. He was also one of the finalists for the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award and was named ACC Quarterback of the Week 5 times in his 11 regular season games. King's career statistical achievements as a Yellow Jacket include 10,200 yards of total offense, 7,900 plus passing, 2,200 plus rushing, the second most in school history, behind only College Football Hall of Famer Joe Hamilton. King finishing fourth in Georgia Tech history with 7,923 passing yards, being the only player in school history with 10,000 yards of total offense or 7,000 passing yards in just 3 seasons as a Yellow Jacket, having the third most rushing yards ever by a Georgia Tech quarterback, 2,277, setting 6 Georgia Tech career records, 91 touchdowns responsible for, 8 300-yard passing games, 8 games with 100 passing yards and 100 rushing yards, 17 games with a passing and rushing touchdown, 674 completions, 67 completion percentage. He's Tech Sport ACC Player of the Year, the 7th to ever finish in the top 10 in Heisman Trophy balloting, and first since College Football Hall of Famer Calvin Johnson in 2006, and the school's first ever Earl Campbell Tyler Rose Award recipient, a Longview, Texas native. King accounted for 2,532 total yards and 30 touchdowns as a senior at Longview High School. And as a junior in 2018, he led the Lobos to the first state championship in 81 years. He was coached at Longview by his father, legendary Texas high school football coach John King. Haynes King, Georgia Tech. Haynes, welcome, and before we get started, please introduce your guest.
I got a lot with me right now.
Uh-oh, hurry up.
My parents here, they've done a really good job of raising me the right way. Love them. And both my grandparents are here as well. Glad they can make it down here. My sister's here with her fiance. And then, I got my aunt here, my cousin, and a lot of family friends as well.
So half of Longview.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, cool. Well represented. Well, you deserve it, man. It was a joy watching you this season. It was so much fun watching the Yellow Jackets, and especially you, because you were the face of that team and you led the resurgence there at Georgia Tech. At what point did you recognize that, hey, this has an opportunity to be a special season?
I'd say through the first 3 games, we felt like this was a great opportunity to have a good season. Going to Colorado on the road, starting the game off with 3 turnovers, and to overcome that, beat them, and then played Gardner Webb the second game, handled them, and then to beat Clemson at home in that walk-off fashion was pretty good, and that's when we kind of knew as a team that we had a chance to be really good.
Was that Clemson game, I think that's the one where they carried the goalpost to the president's pool or whatever there on campus?
Yes, sir. That was the second time that happened.
Yeah, cool. As I said, you're tough as nails, and Joe was just mentioning Fernando Mendoza and his toughness on that quarterback draw for the touchdown in the national title game the other night. What else about your game, or tell us something about your game that we're not aware of that defines you as a quarterback?
I mean, the main one is both these guys here that I look up to. They've done a really good job of who they are and what they represent, and with what they're looking at with young guys and young athletes like myself, with playing the game the right way. That's really what I want to do, and that's how I was raised to play it. You want to be tough and to give your all, and it's not just for yourself, but also for your teammates, and just lay your body on the line, and then that's really what I try to do, just make my family proud and give it my all.
Coach, what was the biggest leadership lesson you learned this season?
The biggest leadership lesson, I would say, was the week that Coach Key held me out. I didn't want to be held out, but he paid me. It was just when things are taken away from you and not in your control, how do you respond? You know, are you just going to kind of slack off and kind of play around and like, oh, this isn't a big deal, or you're still going to come in each and every day trying to get better and pushing the guys around you to uphold the standard of the culture and what y'all guys are trying to do and what the main goal is.
Now, we all know you started your career at College Station at Texas A&M. I believe Coach Dickey's here who recruited you. You transferred. Why did you choose Georgia Tech when you left Texas A&M?
Graduated from Texas A&M. When I got in the portal, I had a prior relationship with Chris Winter. I already knew him, knew that he was going to give me a fair opportunity to play. Knew I was going to have to go in there and compete. And I met him, met Coach Key, met Coach Faulkner, and all of them were like-minded people, wired the right way, and that's who I wanted to surround myself with for the next school and who I wanted to trust and for the rest of my career.
If you weren't playing quarterback, which position would you choose to play?
After this year, I'd say running back.
Good choice. When you look back on your career, what's going to stick with you there at Georgia Tech?
The people that was in that building, that changed the culture, that changed the standard, that changed the way everybody looks at Georgia Tech. What all went through it, it wasn't easy, but you know, like I said, the people that were in that building, they were all like-minded people, had one common goal, all pulling in the same direction. We made a connection and a relationship for life, and that's just one of those things that you'll always remember. And like I said, it's just, I tried my hardest to give it my all, and for those people, it was easy to do that because they did the same and returned the favor.
Great. Longview Lightning, Haynes King, folks. And now to present the trophies to this year's award recipients, Christian Campbell. Where are you, Christian? Tyler Campbell as well. Give him a hand.
Good evening, everyone. It is a joy to see everybody here tonight. Really quickly, Haynes, for you and your family, I want you to always remember the word favor. It's a word I used to hear my grandmother talk about a lot, Ann Campbell, his mother. And when you know that God is for you, my brother, it doesn't matter what the rest of the world has to say. It doesn't matter what anybody has to say, because what's for you is for you and it can never be taken. When you say the King name in Longview, in metro area, in Texas, it means something. You come from a family of fighters at your core. And there's a reason why you have that award, because of what you embody and what you just talked about, and because you love frosted oranges and chili cheese dogs running from the varsity. You have more in common with Earl Campbell than you think. But we just want to say congratulations to you tonight, and know that you have favor over your life, and keep wearing it well. And to Mr. Joe Green, my brother has an award that is given to you with you being our first ever Legends member here, and we do not want you and your wife to leave here empty-handed. Y'all please give a round of applause for both of these gentlemen. And to Haynes, man, you gotta come with us up on stage, my brother, because this trophy is yours, and I know you got your guns ready. It's heavy. It's heavy. With that being said, welcome into the Campbell family. Thank you for being the man that you are. Continue to inspire the world and utilize your gifts, not just for yourself, but to continue to open up doors for all those around you, and keep East Texas near and dear to your heart, just like that man at the table. Congratulations.
Thank you all. This is truly an honor. I'd like to start off by thanking God for blessing me with this journey. Through all the trials and tribulations, He's, shaped me to being the person who I am today. I'd like to thank the Earl Campbell Tyler Rose Award Committee. Coming up and growing up in Longview,